Hey guys, and welcome to my very first YouTube. Can you believe it? I finally made it onto YouTube. I think after all these years, I'm just so, in a way I feel relieved that I'm actually here because it's been so long. I think I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel. If you follow me on all the different platforms, you'll know I'm quite active on Instagram. I have my podcast. I do put stuff up on TikTok as well. LinkedIn, Facebook, you name it. Social media platform, I'm on it, except YouTube until today, until this video went live. That I'm a bit nervous, a bit excited. We're just gonna see how it goes. And I think that's the thing in life, you have to just kind of go for things. If it's something that you want to do, it's kind of like you just have to bite the bullet and go for it. And like today, I put on my hoodie and I was like, right, put on a bit of makeup, throw the camera on, press record, and here we are. Just taking those small little steps as well. What I want this video to be about is obviously just a bit of an introduction about me, who I am, what I do for a living, and also what to expect in future videos. A lot of you, when you kind of see maybe like my channel art, or maybe if you see me or know me on social media, my biggest interest is fitness. However, there's no HIIT workouts on this channel. We're not that kind of vibe. We're going to be a lot of like chatting, help you on a fitness journey, helping you with your mindset, building your confidence, building your self-esteem, just general a bit of crack. I am a very funny, confident individual, and I know that. I'm just going to embrace that. I'm going to embrace that energy. What I want people to come to my channel for is that they want to come and kind of just, you know, have a laugh. Just have a laugh with me, have a laugh at me. It's okay, it's all G. And just have a good time. That's what I want it to be, you know. I want you to be able to come home from work, put me on while you're having your dinner and be like, oh my God, Jess, come on, make me laugh, or, do you know, help me with this or help me with that. I'm here to help you. I'm here to make life a little bit more fun for you as well. But basically, let's talk a bit about me, because if you have no idea who I am, let's start off with a clean slate. So if you have followed me from a previous other platform, if you follow me on Instagram, if you listen to my podcast, if you follow me on TikTok or wherever it is, let me know below where you're after coming from. So I know it's obviously good to kind of know where people are after maybe like finding me, or even if you just came across me on YouTube, hello, I'm Jess. But yeah, I said let's just kind of go into a little bit about me and what to expect in future videos. My name is Jessica Banahan. Even though from the channel art it says Jess Banahan, you can call me Jess. We're all friends here. All my friends call me Jess, except my parents. My parents and some of my very close friends do call me Jessica. As my parents would say, it's the name I was christened with. But yes, my name is Jessica. I am a 29-year-old Irish female living in London. I actually only moved over in March 2022, and it is currently April 2022 when I'm recording this video. So if you're watching in the future, hello. I'm not sure what I'm doing right now in the future, what I'm doing in 2023 or 2024. If this channel is still live, happy days. If I'm still recording videos, unreal. But yeah, here I am. Where do I begin? I think I'm actually going to start with when I finished college. I think that's probably the best place to start. I finished college in 2016. Yes, I'm that old. And I graduated in event management. So that is a course that I absolutely loved. I loved planning, I loved organising. But also was very business focused as well, and I have a big passion for business. I really enjoyed my time with it. From that course, from 2016 onwards, I got into marketing. Marketing is my background. So I was in marketing for about like 5 or 6 years. I was living in Dublin, working for 2 bars actually. That's how I started off, and I was doing a bit of sales, events, marketing, everything. I had an amazing time. In June of 2018, I decided that I would make the very bold move at, I think I was 25. No, I wasn't. I was 25. I think I was 25 actually, when I made the decision to move to Australia. Australia was something that was a place that was never on my mind. I think I'd never really wanted to go there. But I suppose it was at a time where I was single and I felt like I just needed a massive change. I needed to do something really uncomfortable. I look for uncomfortable situations because that's how I get stronger mentally and physically. And I decided I was going to book a one-way ticket to Australia, and that I did. I moved to Australia in July 2018. I started my journey off in Brisbane. I was in Brisbane for like 5 months, I think, and then went on to Sydney, was in Sydney for over a year, and then I finished off in Melbourne. In Australia for about 20 months altogether. I look back and I suppose like a big question I always get asked is, do I miss Australia? I do miss it to an extent, but I'm also very glad of how things have worked out now, because I wouldn't be here recording this video if I was still in Australia. But I suppose like to relate this into kind of fitness as well. So when I was in Australia, I was working in different jobs. I was on a working holiday visa. I was doing like a bit of admin work. I was doing some events. I did a bit of everything when I was in Australia as well. And in 2019, I got to a stage in my life where I felt really like uncomfortable. And as I said, I always look for uncomfortable situations, but this was a situation where I knew I needed to make a change. And it was at a stage in my life where I realized I was truly like unhappy and unfulfilled. And I suppose like sometimes when we are feeling that way, when we're feeling unfulfilled or unhappy in our lives, we tend to resort to something for comfort. And I think for me, I kind of like hid away from the world. I was at a stage in my life where I was going to work, watching Netflix, going to bed, going to work, watching Netflix, going to bed. It was just this vicious cycle. I never went out. I didn't socialize. I didn't, go out for a walk. I was very much turning into the stage where I was just basically closing the world off. And I just got in this vicious cycle of feeling like I was on my own. And I knew I needed to do something to change that. And that is when I decided that I wanted to build up my confidence again. I wanted to build up my self-esteem. I wanted to feel good in myself. And it wasn't really a physique focus point of view, but I did join a gym. So I joined a business or a gym called 12 Round, which is essentially a kind of like high intensity focused classes. And there's a mixture of strength training, but also a mixture of boxing as well. So I thought this would be very fun. I did taekwondo for 6 years when I was younger. So I felt like the aggressive side of me would be very, very grateful. So I said, why not, and just join. I remember joining that one time, I think it was like the 4th of July. It was very, very early on in July. And I remember going to that class absolutely petrified, and I remember coming out like an absolute tomato. I was so exhausted, but I got addicted. Like that, there was no other word to describe it other than I got addicted to that process. I loved the feeling of going in and escaping from the world and just having those endorphins run through my body. I absolutely thrived off it. So from day one, I pretty much started going to those classes 5 to 6 times a week. I got very much like addicted to the adrenaline rush, addicted to the endorphins. And at the time, was I really I was kind of half focused on my physique, but it wasn't really that. As I said, like this was my new addition to my life. It was my new hobby, it was my new passion, where a place I could go and I could just feel absolutely incredible. I could feel strong, I felt empowered. And I really did keep that up. I kept it up for a few months as well. Started looking at my nutrition. And of course, being uneducated in nutrition at the time, I had no idea what protein was, what carbs were, etc., etc. So I knew I had a bit of a journey to kind of go on with that as well. I was under eating, most definitely, because I got to the stage where I was sometimes training twice a day. As I said, like when I got addicted, like there's no other word to describe that. Like I was training sometimes twice a day. And it was simply, as I said, it was not from a physique point of view. I was addicted to how I was feeling. And as I said, like that's why exercise has been such a big part of my life, because I love the empowering emotions that run through my body. I said, like from a hormone perspective, it provides me with such fulfillment. And as I said, that was providing me the fulfillment that I wasn't getting from other areas of my life. Again, we always turn to something else for comfort. And that was what, fitness really was to me at that particular time. But I was under eating, I wasn't, fueling my body enough for all these sessions. I was really, really overtraining. It took a long time, or I suppose like a few weeks, to kind of realize, okay, do you know what? I need help with this. In November 2019, I reached out to my first coach, and I actually came across the messages a few weeks ago because I really wanted to look at what I actually wanted to do. And at the time, in November 2019, in that message, I'll actually put like something here as well. I put out that I was, eating 1,200 calories. I was going, to these classes 5 to 6 times a week. And, it was absolutely just mental what I was doing. And of course the coach is like, look, it's probably very, very low. Especially like if you want to gain muscle as well, that's probably not going to happen. So I started doing those classes, kept up those classes I was going to, those high intensity ones, but also kind of doing a home program as well, and kept that up for about 2 months. And then in January 2020, this is when my whole life changed. That's all I can say. January 2020 was actually the game changer for me, and it wasn't like a new year, new me thing. But basically, I signed up with that coach for about like I think 12 weeks, and the 12-week end mark was coming towards the middle of January. And I remember she asked me, she was like, just wondering, like, do you want to, like, continue, or what are you thinking? And at the time, I remember saying this, because I actually remember sending her a voice note from my bed, because I was actually just after waking up or something. And I said to her, I was like, yeah, like, I definitely want to continue. Like, I'm not done. This process is only just getting started. Which, for anyone that's starting out their fitness journey, usually that 12-week mark, that 8 to 12 week mark is literally just when things are just starting to get good. So if you are currently 8 to 12 weeks into your fitness journey, or you're going through a difficult time, please keep going. Things will improve, because this will just show you. I remember saying in a voice note, and I told her that I wanted to compete in a bodybuilding competition. Now, bearing in mind, I had just started getting into fitness in July 2019, and then just over 6 months later, I decided I wanted to compete. At that time, when I reached out to that coach, I started following other competitors across different federations. Now, again, I was completely oblivious, and I had no idea what competing was. I didn't really know what to expect, but I just knew I needed a challenge. I knew I needed something to work towards. And, you know, I was showing up for my sessions. I was doing everything to a T. My overall adherence was absolutely amazing. Like, and I will say that, like, you know, but I did, of course, I have a meals out and stuff like that. But again, my overall adherence, 85-90% of the time, was absolutely spot on. And she said, let's do it. So we decided then in late January 2020, that we would work towards my first competition as well. Then a month later, my sister, Alexa, there's 5.5 years between us. I'll put a photo of us here because we're kind of cute together. So people say we look alike. Obviously, I think we do. I always get told that I look younger, so Alexa knows that as well. But yeah, Alexa is 5.5 years younger than me. But she actually started working with a coach in February 2020, and we both decided together that we would actually compete. And it was absolutely mad, to be totally honest. Like, again, I'm just actually even thinking about how mad this was, because at the time, Alexa and I weren't really that close. Like, we were close, we were sisters, but I think when we both started working with coaches, that's when our sister relationship really, really developed. And I truly, like I don't know what I'd do without her. Like, I just, like, she is my rock. And I think for anyone that has a sister or a sibling like that, you will know that they are your rock. And I think, like, I'm so glad that fitness has brought us even closer together. But yeah, so we both started being coached anyway, and we decided that we would compete in April 2021. Again, as I'm kind of talking, this is happening in February 2020. This is prior to the pandemic. So I'm in Australia, Alexa's back in Ireland, and then March 2020 happened. And that's when my whole life changed. So basically, to give a bit of context, and I didn't really tell many people this at the time, but towards the end of 2019, I felt there was this fire in me to make a change. I really felt that I could actually make a change in people's lives. Marketing at the time was slowly fading for me. I was slowly kind of not being as interested and as passionate as I was, let's say, 4 years ago. And I didn't really know how to kind of, I suppose, like, overcome it. I thought this is just a spell I'm going through. But I felt like fitness was now becoming such an important element of my life, and I wanted it to be a bigger element of my life. And in December 2019, I was kind of just like, you know what? Maybe I could study personal training. Maybe I could actually become a coach myself. And again, this is 6 months after just getting into fitness. I think, oh, geez, I'm going to just change careers. I got a marketing job in Melbourne in 2020. And again, started, you know, the idea of that I was going to compete. But unfortunately, in March 2020, it was faced with the decision that I had to return to Ireland. You know, some of you guys will know, obviously, with the pandemic, we were faced with a lot of different challenges. A lot of people lost their jobs, as did I. Unfortunately, I had to come home. It wasn't a decision that I had to make. It was like, the decision was made for me that I had to return home. So I returned back to Ireland in March 2020 and was going through a very difficult time. Of course, I was, in isolation from my family for a short period. And, I had to figure out my next move. And of course, at that time when essentially the world had shut down, how do you figure out your next move? But then I remembered that again in December 2019, there was that little thought in the back of my mind that maybe in the future that I would become a coach. As I said, like in December 2019, I kind of thought it was like a 5-year down the line kind of a goal that I would change career. But at that time, it was probably the perfect opportunity to kind of start thinking about it. So in March 2020, I started studying personal training while working in another job as well. I started studying personal training, and all I can say is that, and I think my own mom said this to me as well, she was like, you worked harder in your personal training course than you did in your four-year bachelor's degree. And that'll just show you how passionate I truly was. Like, I gave that course everything. I qualified in September 2020 in personal training and group instruction as well. It was truly the most incredible feeling to actually qualify as well, and actually be like, do you know what, I'm actually after learning so much. I'm after educating myself as well. I think I learned a lot from a personal aspect as well, and finally feeling like I was doing something that I know was going to be, you know, helpful to others, but also helpful to me as well, even on my own journey. During this time as well, to kind of again relate back to my own coaching experience as well and competing, we still aimed to compete in 2021. That was always still the plan. So again, I think times did have to adjust, or dates had to adjust. So initially it was always an April 2021 move, but then the federation then moved it to July 2021. So we kind of knew that we were still going to work towards that as well. So again, when we were coming out of restrictions and stuff like that. Then I made the absolute bold decision to actually start coaching in January 2021. So last year I started my business, Self Coaching. Insert logo here. So I started my coaching business in January 2021, and I'm still coaching, whatever, 15 months later. And yeah, I made that bold decision. It was petrifying because there's no manual on how to start a business, and I remember spending, you know, my Christmas holidays trying to figure out, okay, how do I do this? How do I actually start a business? I was doing coaching on the side of my 9-to-5 job as well, and then I had to make a decision because I was feeling very overworked, overstressed, and you know, for people who do have that, like, you know, side hustle as well as their salary or 9-to-5 job, fair bloody play to you, because it's so tough. I couldn't do it, and I had to make that decision. We were in lockdown at the time, so I kind of said to myself, if I don't do it now, I'll never do it when we resume back to normal. So I made the decision to, you know, say goodbye to my marketing career and actually pursue coaching full time. And I've been full time now since March 2021. Yeah, March last year. It's been a hell of a journey ever since. And to kind of, again, kind of go back to coaching, I know I'm kind of going back and forth because I suppose like there's so much that's probably happened over the last few years. Anyway, my sister and I started working towards the July 2021 competition date. So during 2021, we did our whole prep in lockdown. We did our workouts in our garage. You know, we had to do our cardio just by walking around the house. We're fortunately able to go for walks, I think, at the time as well. But yeah, Alexa and I competed then in July 2021. Me and Alexa both placed in, because we competed in Pure Elite, we competed in a couples category where we came second. Alexa then won her category. She came second in her category as well, and then I didn't place in my own category as well. But anyway, that's another different story as well. But that was our first competition that we did. Absolutely loved it. It was a truly amazing experience, and I don't regret it. I think that was just the biggest challenge I could have put my body through and my mind through as well. Then in August 2021, so August of last year, I had a very tough time post-show. I did a podcast on this as well, talking about post-show blues. For anyone that has competed or anyone has done a photo shoot, you might have experienced this kind of thing, like, you know, post-shoot or post-show day blues. Because I suppose like you're after working towards something for such a long time, and when it kind of happens and it's a pure anticlimax and everything kind of goes, you're like, oh, what to do now? What do I work on now? And it could be a very challenging time as well. I suppose in August 2021, I was faced with the challenge of like, what is next? What do I do? I had a tough time kind of coming out of the show and kind of, I suppose, being upset that I didn't place, and, you know, I had a lot of different things kind of going on my mind. And then I decided that I wanted to change my goal. I decided to move federation. So Alex and I both made that decision, and we started working with our current coach, Mike Geary, the legend that is. So Mike, if you're watching this, hey. But yeah, so Alex and I started working with Mike in 2021. He's been our rock as a coach as well. He's been absolutely incredible to both Alex and I. We're very, very lucky. But he has realised our full potential. He's competed in the federation now that we've moved to, which is NPC. You know, we know what we're able to achieve as well. In terms of my own competing journey at the moment, I am currently just coming out of my off season. So basically an off season is kind of like your surplus or gaining phase or whatever you want to call it. So many different names you can call it nowadays. But yeah, I've just been trying to grow as much muscle tissue as possible over the last 8 months, I think. So since August 2021, since August 2021. Now currently in a maintenance phase before I begin my own prep in May 2022. And I'm competing later on this year in September. I'm competing in 2 shows, maybe more, but we'll start off with 2 and see how that goes as well. And I'm excited and I'm nervous. I do hope that I can share more competition updates as well. Let me know below if that's something that you're interested in learning a bit more about competing as well. And I might get even Alexa on as well for a podcast, or not podcast, I keep saying a podcast. I might get Alexa on to do an episode as well, and we can kind of even talk about our fitness journeys together, how we've done as sisters. I think honestly having Alexa throughout this journey has been so helpful, because like it's having someone there that's been going through the same thing can actually be so helpful. One thing that I've learned as a coach but also as a client is understanding the importance of your environment. Your environment can really reflect your actions, your emotions. Like I have Alexa who's going through the exact same things what I'm going through, so when I'm going through a really tough day in prep, she's probably going through something similar, or she went through something similar the day before, and we know we're going to be able to help each other out as well. Similar with my coach, he's gone through similar situations, done shows before, so he knows the ups and downs that we can face. So it's reassuring to know that you have someone there that you can support and lean on with as well. That's something I suppose I pride myself with my coaching as well, that if I can relate to my clients in some way, I'll always be open with them and say, look, I've been through a similar situation like this. I know it's not the exact same, but if they know they've been through a similar situation, it just makes them a little bit reassured to know that they're not alone and that they can overcome whatever challenges that they do face as well. So yeah, I think that's everything. I think it's everything that I can think of as an introduction about me. But I suppose, like, from a personal level, I just moved to London. I have always wanted to live in London. I think it's always just a magical city. For anyone that might have come here before on a city break or been here for a few days, you'll know this city just has something magical about it. I suppose when I was trying to think of where I wanted to move to next, the UK just kind of made sense. It's where I felt the most comfortable. I've been to London several times. Yeah, I just kind of decided to make that move. So I'm only here a month. I'm still very, very new. I'm still getting used to it. Obviously, Ireland and the UK can be quite similar, but also very different as well. And again, something I'm still getting used to as well. Again, it's an uncomfortable situation moving to a new place as well. But I'm always just, as I said, I'm up for putting myself in uncomfortable situations so I can learn and grow and, thrive as well. But I suppose I am someone who thrives off a very, very busy environment. Like when things get really, really busy, that's when I start to really level up. It's when I feel most productive as well. So this busy city life is where I feel at best. I think that's it. I'm trying to think of anything else because I don't want to yab on and keep things for future videos as well. But I do hope this video has been, helpful. It's been insightful maybe. And I suppose, look, what to expect in future videos. Like, let me know below, based on what you've heard from me over the last while, what you would like to hear in future videos. Do you want to hear more about photo shoots that I've done, competitions, and my competition prep as well? That's also seemed to be quite interesting. Definitely, like, stuff I want to talk about is like confidence, self-esteem, habits, building a more resilient mindset, how to start your fitness journey, even fitness failures that I've gone through as well. Like, I'm willing to go through it all. I'm willing to be as open as I can. So please do let me know below if you have any topics or suggestions that you would like me to do, and I can do it for future videos as well. But I'm really, really excited. I think, look, this is, as I said, this was a bullet I needed to bite. Yeah, I'm nervous and excited, but I do hope that you liked this video. As I said, I know I kind of went on back and forth and a little bit as well, but I suppose there's a lot of different components of my life that I obviously want to bring here onto YouTube as well. So as I said, like, we will have the competition side of me, we'll also have my coaching side as well. So again, stuff that I'd be able to help you with on your own journey, and just some other personal bits as well, because I suppose, like, as I said, I want you guys to come here for a good time, also like a valuable time as well. I want to be able to provide value for you in future videos as well. So if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and always, of course, if you want to see more videos from me, please do hit the subscribe button, and I will hopefully see you in the very next video.